This is really cheesy, but my favorite thing about the house isn't actually the house itself. It's that I live a block from my aunt, who is basically like my second mom, super close with her my whole life, and I just love that I could be so close to her.
That's really sweet.
I know, I'm like tearing up. I don't know why. I never thought about that. Okay, compose yourself.
You're watching Homeworthy, where we believe every home has a story. Like and subscribe for more.
Hi, I'm Steffi and welcome to my home.
And who's this?
This is Claude. She's always guarding the territory. Hi, my name's Steffi and I am an Instagrammer and I run the account at Steffi, where I share lifestyle and fashion and home renovation, and we're in my home in Long Beach, New York. So when I first bought it, I actually loved it exactly as is. It just wasn't super functional. It was just really broken up. It was built in the 50s, so it had a lot of like individual rooms with like awkward sizing. The living room was in the same spot. The kitchen was all the way in the back of the house, which was super awkward when we had guests. We would have to like carry our dishes all the way down the hall. And then there was a really cute dining room, but it connected to a laundry room, so it was really strange, but I loved it for being strange. I didn't love not having a dishwasher with a 1-year-old. That part really stunk. But we lived in it for like a year and a half with all of its like original layout before we finally jumped into renovating it. So this is our entryway. It's been a little bit interesting figuring out how I wanted to style it, because there used to be a wall and now it's like open, but there's not that much space between the living room and like where you walk in. Originally I had a bench behind the couch, but I felt like walking into a bench was kind of awkward. So I ended up landing on this nice little table where we like keep our keys. I have a little basket for like the kids stuff, like hats and scarves and that kind of thing. And then the wall itself always felt like slightly too white and plain for me. So finally, after a year of going back and forth on wallpaper, I landed on this peel and stick, which makes the wall feel complete. I would always wake up and look in this corner and be like, what can I do there to make it feel like I don't need to touch it ever again? Because I feel like I'm always tinkering with this area. My husband's like, what are you gonna order now? Like, it looks great. I'm like, it's not done though. Like, it needs something else. And I feel like adding the peel and stick wallpaper actually made me be like, it's done. Like, I can stop focusing on it now. This space has been kind of interesting to design because we have so many windows and not that much wall space. In decorating, that was like the biggest challenge. We used to have a smaller TV that was like sitting on a media stand right in this corner, kind of awkwardly. It was what we had at our previous apartment, didn't really think much of it. But then this year we were at home so much and I started to really rethink our living room. Also, my dad is 6'4" and he used to come and sit on our last couch and complain that it was like the most uncomfortable couch he's ever sat on. So it like got in my head and I'm like, I need to redesign this space. So my first step was finding this incredible article couch that is so comfortable. It's like 1,000 times more comfortable than our previous couch. And I love the color. I pretty much got the exact same color couch that we originally had. And I just love it. It's like now where we hang out all the time. The table I actually purchased with my 1-year-old in mind, because he was starting to pull up on our last table and it was really tippy and I was just getting heart attacks every day. So I'm like, I really need a table that's like kid friendly. And then with this space, I always wanted a fireplace. We would rent places like Airbnbs upstate and I would come home and be like, oh, I really wish we had like a centerpiece to our living room that just grounds the room. And then I had an epiphany. I couldn't sleep one night postpartum, and my baby was maybe like 3 months old at that point, and I was like, I want to put like a fall mantle in our living room. I'd seen them all over Pinterest and it just never clicked that I could actually make that happen in my own space. We love it now because it opened up a lot of space. So it does feel like more open. I like that I can like design different like tchotchkes on here around the holidays. And then we got a frame TV, which is just like a sneaky, it's like you don't think it's a TV, and it is. I just can't believe that a TV could be that cute. Because they're usually like what you kind of want to hide in a corner, but this is like really the centerpiece of our room. I'm still like not certain if I should leave it red or paint it white. So if you guys have any input, because I go back and forth. Some days I'm like, oh, I don't like the red, and others I'm like, oh, I love it. It's like a nice contrast. But then this was from Etsy. There's an artist who cuts all the wood up and glues it all on. So it kind of looks like it's like receding into the wall, but it's not. Obviously up close, I feel like it doesn't look that way, but from far away it does. So this is where we eat all of our meals. I am always thankful for it just because we walked down a long hallway with plates for so long since our kitchen was so far away. It's so nice having the kitchen right next to the dining room. And then this corner was like, there was always like a really awkward record player like right in the corner. And finally, again, I tackled it when I was at home for a year. And I found this beautiful vintage piece again on Facebook Marketplace. Husband ran out and got it late at night. It was like a pea soup green kind of, and I ended up refinishing it and painting it white, and I love it. It adds some like vintage charm into the space. I see this house as my forever home just because it's in the perfect location for us to raise our kids. So I didn't want to go super bold on the style of the kitchen. I love like the trend where the bottom cabinets are black or a color, but I just didn't think that that would be something I would want to live with forever. So I ended up doing like a very white mid-century modern mix with like a kind of luxe feeling kitchen. We picked out this slab. We went in and we like saw a bunch of slabs, and my husband and I picked it out together. And I love the waterfall Peninsula Island. It's like the first thing you see when you walk in. And then we also loved having like a walnut colored wood open shelf. And I have so much fun swapping out the decor on the shelf like month to month. I'll be like, oh, I feel like it needs to be a little bit yellow this month. Like I'll always change it. And then we knew we wanted a farmhouse sink because I just saw them and loved them always. And then I picked this gold handle and gold hardware to kind of give it like a more luxe feeling. And then the window above the sink is something else I always dreamed of having, like a window that you could open up on like a nice spring day like today and just like breathe in fresh air. The other thing with the kitchen that I guess is kind of interesting is when we first did the kitchen, when we first started like renovating it, we had a door right here that we closed up, and we had no plans to add skylights. And I walked in to like check on the job with my aunt, who I mentioned earlier, and a tear fell down because I was like, it's so dark in here, and like we need to figure something out on the spot because we can't have a dark kitchen. Like that defeats the purpose of renovating. So on the spot, we decided to add in this door over here and to add 2 skylights. It ended up holding up our job about 5 weeks because we had to order the skylights, they had to cut them in. It was like a whole new level that we didn't plan for, but to this day, I'm like, it's so worth those 5 weeks. Like I would do it over and over again because these just bring so much nice natural light into the kitchen. Here we are in my bedroom, and this is a room that we redesigned completely when we renovated because we really wanted to have a few things. We wanted to have a bigger space to have our bed come this way in between the 2 windows, which is kind of like what we envisioned the room was supposed to be like. And then we really wanted 2 separate closets.
I feel like you've brought the outdoors inside.
In here, it's not always like so green. Like I said, I love to like swap the decor out all the time. It's actually been like this for a while.
So I have to ask, is the tattoo on the arm the dog in the bed?
It is. And funny enough, my husband has it too. He's got it on his heart. So now I'm gonna take you into the bathroom, which actually used to be our kitchen. Da-da-da-da. It's crazy. It's been like a year and a half, so I almost can't imagine it anymore, but I kind of can because We had like the sink was right here, and then this was like the counter space. And I actually spent a lot of time in the kitchen before we before we renovated the bathroom. I DIY'd that kitchen and I painted the cabinets white. So I spent so much time just like making that kitchen feel really me. So I sometimes will still get like flashbacks of being in it, and like my 1-year-old high chair was right here and I would like feed him dinner. And it's just so wild how you could take a space and use it in like a completely different way. But the way it is right now really feels like a spa. So I come in every night, I take a bath. It's just so nice. So now I'm gonna take you to my closet, which is my favorite place in the house and where I spend the most time. It's like everything I've always dreamed of as a little girl. It is just so nice. The best thing about it is I have a door. So, you know, as a mom, sometimes you need to like sneak a Reese's bar without your kids seeing, or like just take a moment and get dressed and have like some sanity and quiet. So this is like where I do that. I hide my yoga mat behind here, and it's like the perfect length to fit in my closet and do a workout. So I do that a lot of days of the week. The first thing that I love and I like admire every day is the shoe wall. I just love being able to see all my shoes in one place. I've lived in so many places where I had to like, my shoes were like in a shoe rack underneath my clothes, and like you gotta push the dresses up to see your shoes. Like, oh, that is just like terrible. So it's just, I'm always so thankful to have them just like laid out where I could just grab them. I also, this is like a really small detail that you might not notice, but the closet company did gold hang bars, and I feel like that little touch makes such a big difference. The fact that like the gold matches the gold. And then we ended up doing glassing here, and I love that it's just like a solid glassed in door for like my nicer bags. And the mirror backsplash is another one that we went back and forth on, and then ultimately we were like, that just makes it so nice to like put your jewelry on and have a mirror. I wouldn't say it's my favorite piece, but the piece that holds the most sentimental value is this dress. I would never get rid of it. It's from Forever 21, but when I was pregnant with my youngest, my son Charlie, I would take bump pictures every week in it. So it's super sentimental to me. This is the area where I film a lot of videos for my Instagram and for TikTok now, I guess. And I never felt like this wall was complete, and I had been seeing all these board and batten tutorials all over the internet. I guess it's like a thing right now. And I was like, I can do it. Like, I think I can do it. And I did it, like all by myself. It was crazy. I was like mind blown, and it's not perfect, but it looks good enough for me, I think, for my first try. I really felt like the wall needed like some dimension, and I love clothes, so I wanted to like have them displayed in my like little region where I like do my makeup and I look at my outfit, and I'm like, I just want to be able to have like something here that's like, it's not all hidden in my closet. Here in Long Beach, New York, there was like a huge Hurricane Sandy a few years back, and it's most houses after the hurricane lifted, so they're like these giant 3-story homes that are also safer in case of a hurricane or anything. But I didn't want to do that to this home. I loved the like quaint feel you get when you just like walk up to the door. It's a red brick house. And you walk in and you can just tell that there's pieces of it that still are like reminiscent of the 50s. And even though like everyone recommended that we lift the house, I was super adamant to not do that. I feel like the house still has that like quaint charm that I fell in love with when I first saw it.
Click here to watch another amazing home tour, and be sure to subscribe to Homeworthy.